Pakistan reported more than 1,000 cases of COVID-19 for the first time since July on October 29.
Of world 10 most polluted rivers, 8 are in Asia, including Indus and Ganga. Unplanned peri-urban neighborhoods without wastewater treatment facilities as polluted fresh water. The UN General Assembly formally recognized the human right to water and sanitation in July 2010. Before 292 also acknowledged that clean drinking water and sanitation were essential to the realization of all human rights. Development Goal SDG 6 of the 2030 Agenda aims at ensuring water and sanitation for all by
Federal Minister for Kashmir Affairs and Gilgit-Baltistan Ali Amin Gandapur on 31st October 2020 announced that the federal government had decided to elevate the status of Gilgit-Baltistan.
Veteran journalist and former editor of Dawn, Salim Asmi, passed away in Karachi on 30 October 2020. Scottish movie legend Sean Connery, who shot to international stardom as Savi and sophisticated British agents James Bond and went on to dominate silver screen for 4 decades, has died. The United States has agreed to sell top-of-the-line F-35 fighter jets to the United Arab Emirates following its recognition of Israel, a lawmaker said. The World Bank indicates that learning poverty in the country may rise to 79% from the present 75% owing to closure of schools. It states that around 930,000 children, an increase around 4.2% on the existing figure of 22 million, are expected to drop out from primary and secondary school. Considering that around 44% of our children are already out of school, these fresh pandemic-related dropouts could well mean that half of our child population will have no opportunity to learn, grow and eventually become productive member of workforce. If this damage is not remedied, says the report, the country could in the next 20 years incur a loss of between $67 billion and $155 billion in GDP at its current value. The United States imposed fresh Iran-related sanctions targeting the Islamic Republic's oil sector, including the Iranian Ministry of Petroleum in Washington's latest move to increase pressure on Tehran. US tests unarmed Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missile from California. The Minuteman III, which has been in service for 50 years, has been the only surface-to-air missile in the US nuclear arsenal since 2005.
Hardware installation work at the Materi Lahore transmission line is in final stage in Bahawalpur district. The $1.68 billion project is the first HVDC project in the country and the second in the world. Pakistan's first and mega high voltage direct current HVDC project, Materi Lahore transmission line, has almost been completed. The project, launched under China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, has now officially entered the testing and commissioning phase that is likely to complete by December this year. Rescuers dug through heavy blocks of concrete with their bare hands on Saturday in a desperate search for survivors from a powerful earthquake that leveled buildings across Greece and Turkey, killing at least 26 people. The US Geological Survey said that 7.0 magnitude tremor hit 14 km off the Greek town of Karlovci on Samos. Prime Minister Imran Khan and Facebook's Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg held a virtual meeting on 9th October 2020 to discuss the social media's giant's investment in Pakistan. PM Imran and Sandberg also spoke about the latter's She Means Business program, which is providing training to 6,700 women across the country. The Premier had invited tech firms to invest in Pakistan and had asked Facebook to consider investments to support Pakistani incubators and help in digital literacy initiatives. Singer, instrumentalist and composer Mohammad Raza Shajrain, who embodied traditional and classical Iranian music for more than half a century, both at home and abroad, dies on 8th October 2020, aged 80. Pakistani footballer Karishma Ali, the first girl from Chitral to play football on both national as well as international level. She is 21-year-old. Karishma is the founder of Chitral Women's Sports Club. She is responsible for training 60 girls and simultaneously encouraging their participation in the Committee to Protect Journalists has released its Global Impunity Index 2020, where it spotlights countries where journalists have been slain and their killers set free. Pakistan is the ninth worst country on the list, just rising up one place from 2019 when it was the eighth worst country. Somalia, Syria, Iraq, and South Sudan are on the top of the list in that order because of the war and political instability. The CPG report finds that corruption, weak institutions, and lack of political will for solid investigation are some of the reasons why countries including Pakistan, Mexico, and Philippines have impunity. In the case of Pakistan, there are 15 unresolved murder cases of journalists. According to CPJ database, 61 journalists have been killed in attacks since 1992. Afghanistan was on the 5th spot, followed by Mexico on 6th place, Philippines on the 7th, Brazil on the 8th, and Pakistan on the 9th spot. Bangladesh was the 10th worst country with 7 unsolved cases, followed by Russia and India with 6 and 17 unsolved murder cases of journalists on the Global Impunity Index 2020. The Daniel Pearl case was also quoted in the report. On April 2, the Sindh High Court reversed the murder convictions of the 4 accused for the Wall Street Journal reporter's murder in 2002. It did not directly affect the Global Impunity Index, pointed out the report, but it was a major legal development. Ahmad Umar Said Sheikh, who had previously been sentenced to death, was found guilty only for kidnapping Daniel Pearl, and his sentence was cut down to 7 years, which he had already served. The Pearl family and the Sindh provincial government appealed, and the 4 men remained imprisoned at the end of September. It showed that even resolved legal decisions could be upturned. The United States and India signed a pact to share sensitive satellite and map data on 27 October 2020 as US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo warned of the threat posed by an increasingly assertive China. The agreement, called Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement BECA, was signed at the third edition of India-US 2+2 talks held in Delhi. The accord will enable India to access precision topographical, nautical, and aeronautical data and topographical images from US military satellites on a real-time basis. The data could be used for missiles and armed drones. It is the 8th agreement signed by the United States and India since they embarked on a strategic partnership in 2005. Pakistani strategists believe that the agreement would increase Pakistan's strategic dilemma, even though it is being presented as part of efforts to contain China. Defense analysts say BICA would provide an American overlay to Indians' indigenous intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. The data made available to India under BICA, they say, would help it increases its missile accuracy and precision. It would also allow the US to provide advanced navigational aids and avionics to India in future military aircraft deals. United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on 28 October 2020 brought the Trump administration's anti-China campaign to 2 Indian Ocean island nations considered particularly at risk for what American officials allege is Chinese exploitation. Pompeo is visiting Sri Lanka and Maldives to press the 2 countries to be on guard against potential predatory lending and investment by China. He was making the case less than a week before the American election in which President Donald Trump is seeking to paint his rival, former Vice President Joe Biden, as weak on China and beholden to it. Even before Pompeo arrived in Sri Lanka, China had fired back at a US message accusing Washington of bullying similar nations. Pompeo, who will also visit the Maldives and Indonesia, will press each nation to push back against increasing Chinese assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific. UN Security Council. to adopt Resolution 1325, which states Women, Peace and Security on October 31, 2020. All 50 member states agreed with none abstaining or voting against it. It called upon states in conflict to prevent women's rights violations, facilitate their participation in peace-related agreements and post-conflict reconstruction, and protect them against sexual violence during war. The resolution underscores the long-term impact of the conflicts on women and their agency in building and maintaining peace at all levels. This year's UNSC Open Debate will extend over 3 days and take stock of where the world stands on implementation of the resolution's agenda. WPS agenda is closely linked to the status of women in the world, the level of their education, opportunities available to them to develop their potential and contribute to economic and social development, positions they occupy at decision-making levels, and their independence and ability to make decisions determine the extent to which states are serious about Resolution 1325. Of 195 country leaders, currently only 22 are women. This is a distinct improvement over 1995, when the UN adopted its resolution on gender equality and women empowerment, but it is still very low. Since WPS 1325, some progress has been made, but it is limited. Progress is almost invisible despite 9 additional resolutions and 80 national action plans. Only 3% of peace negotiations have included women, whereas it is a fact that women-inclusive peace settlements are more sustainable. To accelerate progress, UN has identified 6 priority areas. Number 1 is ensure accountability of countries for implementation of the 1325 agenda, facilitate women's meaningful participation and decision making in process and their implementation, protect women's rights defenders, support women's participation in economic decision making in post-conflict situations, increase the number of women and national security services, and invest in the WPS agenda and in women peace builders. Pakistan will be co-hosting the 24th ARF Heads of Defense Universities, Colleges, Institutions meeting with Malaysia in 2021. Prime Minister's aide Dr. Moeed Yusuf on Tuesday said that Pakistan was ready to hold talks with India, provided Kashmir was included as a third party. Dr. Moeed Yusuf revealed that India had expressed a desire for conversation but said that Pakistan's agreement to talks would be conditional. The conditions include the immediate release of occupied Kashmir's political prisoners, lifting of the heavy military siege from the territory, reversal of New Delhi's decision to strip the region of its special status, and ending human rights violation in the valley, and a stop to India's state-sponsored terrorism against Pakistan. He said that Malik Faridun, a mastermind of the Army Public School Nasagir in Peshawar, was in touch with the handlers at the Indian consulate in Afghanistan. The terrorist was also treated at a New Delhi hospital in 2017. The Premier's assistant said that the government had records of phone calls from numbers of people who orchestrated the APS attack from a third country. He went on to reveal that Aslam Achu, a Balochistan Liberation Army terrorist who was involved in an attack on the Chinese embassy in Karachi, was also directly working with his raw handlers and was also treated at an Indian hospital later. 10th October is the World Day Against the Death Penalty. It is 18th World Day Against the Death Penalty. Pakistan is the second largest reported number of condemned prisoners. An article published in Dawn on 9th October 2020 shows that 80 times out of 100 a prisoner on death row is acquitted by the Supreme Court during the appeals process. China appreciates Pakistan's support on Hong Kong stance. Few days ago, Pakistan's representative at UN, Munir Akram, said Hong Kong was an inalienable part of China and Hong Kong affairs were China's internal affairs that brook no interference by foreign forces. According to Pakistan Bureau of Statistics, weekly inflation for the combined group in the period ended on October 8 increased by 1.24% on the back of an uptick in prices of essential food items. The United Nations Food Agency, the World Food Programme, won the Nobel Peace Prize on 9th October 2020 for its efforts to combat hunger and improve conditions for peace in areas affected by conflict. The Rome-based organization says it helps some 97 million people in about 88 countries each year, and that 1 in 9 people worldwide still do not have enough to eat. Aviation Minister Ghulam Sarwar Khan had issued a directive stating that there shall be a complete ban on processing of new recruitment and CAA until the process of segregation within the authority is complete. Due to current economic impacts after almost 100 years of welcoming guests to the Grand Dome of New York, the Roosevelt Hotel is regretfully closing its doors permanently as of October 31, 2020. The Roosevelt Hotel, which was opened on September 23, 1924, was built by Niagara Falls businessman Frank A. Dudley and operated by the United Hotels Company. PIA leased the hotel in 1979 through its investment arm, PIA Investments Limited, with an option to purchase the building after 20 years. Prince Faisal bin Khalid bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia was one of the investors in the 1979 deal. In 1999, the PIA exercised its option and bought the hotel for $36.5 million. In 2005, the PIA bought out its Saudi partner in a deal that included the prince's share in Hotel Scribe in Paris in exchange for $40 million and PIA's share of the Riyadh Minhal Hotel. The PIA has since controlled 99% interest in the hotel, while the Saudis have only 1%. Aga Khan Agency for Habitat Pakistan and the government of Gilgit-Baltistan have announced a US $4.2 million project to plant 50 million trees across the region to reduce the climate-induced natural disasters.